Hey everybody, welcome to Final Flame Productions, and today we're going to talk about Jack Reacher, and we're going to talk about the ever-going discussion, and I guess it's an argument for some people, but it seems to be most people think that Tom Cruise wasn't the greatest fit for Jack Reacher, at least in size and stature and stuff like that. Today I wanted to give a kind of a different view on this, as I usually do on my channel. I'm usually the one that is disagreeing with the masses. I admit I'm not a big Jack Reacher book person in terms of I haven't read much of it. I've just read a little of one of the books. So I'm basing most of my opinion on my enjoyment of the movies or the movies and TV show. Today I wanted to talk, there's an article by Screen Rant, and Screen Rant, they're hit and miss with some of their stuff, mostly miss these days, but it's an opinion piece that I didn't agree with, but I guess it's all opinions. At the end of the day, my opinion is no less stupid than another person's. This by a Screen Rant contributor, and the start of their article is called 10 Ways Alan Richson is a better Jack Reacher than Tom Cruise. I'd have to admit that he definitely, if you're just going to base it solely on look and how Jack Reacher is supposed to look, I think, of course, those sort of superficial visuals, there's no contest. Ritchson is a much bigger guy than Tom Cruise. But anyway, I want to go through these, and because I looked through them. I disagree on most of them. Although number 10, Alan, is the right size. So as I just said there, Alan Richson is obviously more closer to the 6'5" and 250 pounds than Tom Cruise is. So you got to agree with that side of things, that Ritchson is the right size. Number 9, Alan is a better loner. That's kind of, I don't know if I agree with that either, because he doesn't spend much of his time alone in the show. I mean, he seems to be always surrounded by loads of co-stars. He's the two main characters with him. I'm Roscoe and Roscoe and Oscar Finley. So to say he's a loner, I think he spends there's way too much time with other characters in the show. So if you like him being a loner and doing his own things, I guess there's quite a bit of that. But I think there's also a lot of he's always sharing the screen with co-stars. So I think him being a better loner, we don't see enough of him being a loner. The Tom Cruise movies, you go back to them, and especially the first movie anyway, which is the one I didn't particularly like. The second movie, I mean, I thought it was fine, but I just thought it was a step down in quality from the first Jack Reacher movie. But I think Tom Cruise had quite a bit of his own screen presence. The only other person he shared the screen time a lot with was Rosamund Pike, and I guess Robert Duvall near the end. But I didn't feel, maybe because it's a movie, it's shorter, I didn't feel he was maybe being overshadowed, which will come in a while, by other characters. So I disagree on number 9, that he's a better loner, because I don't think we get to see him enough being a loner. Number 8, Tom Cruise was too cool. Again, I don't know. I think both of them were probably. If you think being too cool is a bad thing, I think that Alan Richson is, just by everybody's talking about how hot he is and how dashing he looks, how big he is, and he's generally the cool guy of the scene, and he's never not cool. I mean, I know Tom Cruise gets to do a lot of cool stuff, and he's Tom Cruise movie star, so he's always going to be cool. But I think that's an unfair thing to say, that Tom Cruise was too cool, because I think Ritchson is equally played as the hunk and the handsome guy that's doing cool stuff. So don't agree with that either. Alan is more realistic fighter. Yeah, that's kind of, you could take or leave that. I mean, Tom Cruise is an action star. He's done a lot of Mission Impossible movies. He's done a lot of action movies. I think the action scenes in the movies are a lot more sophisticated and a lot like the card. I don't think there's anything as good as the car chase in the first Jack Reacher movie. I don't think there's anything as good in the TV show. I think that car chase in the first movie was terrific. And especially how they end that car chase with Jack Reacher hiding in the crowd after the bus stop. The crowd at the bus stop, they kind of keep Tom Cruise hidden. And then you've got the sniper scene. Got the action scene at the end. You've got Werner Herzog as the villain. So yeah, the realistic fighter. I mean, I guess it's more realistic. You would believe Alan Richson could beat up 6 or 7 people because he's just so big. I guess if that's in terms of technically being able to pull off an action scene for the big screen or streaming, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to beat Tom Cruise. He's an action star. Any movie he does, the action's usually top notch. So again, a little bit in the middle with that one. Alan has a better stone face. It says here, Jack Reacher is not a man who shows emotions. He is someone who will stand there with friends, allies, enemies, and rarely crack a smile. Someone could compliment him or insult him, and he will just look at them, making enemies want to hide and allies wonder if he hits them. Stone face, I'm not so sure about that, to be honest. Well, I mean, what do they say about Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise has $1 million smile, and while he kept it minimal in Jack Reacher movies, it was still Tom Cruise. Alan Richson's perfected the look in Reacher, and I'm not sure about that. I think Alan Richson smiles and laughs and kind of pretty happy-go-lucky. Not happy-go-lucky, that's a little bit harsh on him, but I don't think he's stone-faced or gloomy that often. I think he likes the company of Roscoe and he likes Finley, so I don't think he's particularly glum or stone-faced. So I'm not sure. I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is all very my personal opinions, but I think Tom Cruise wasn't doing the Tom Cruise kind of smiley Tom Cruise movie star performance. He was quite different. I mean, his smart-ass remarks, his attitude towards people. I thought he was very, very good in the movie. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm hating on Alan Richson because I like him, but I mean, I don't think he was without. I mean, as this point is trying to say, he was stone-faced and not cracking smiles and jokes. Wouldn't agree with that. I think there's quite a bit of that in there. Alan delivers Reacher's line perfectly. Tom Cruise comes across as a good guy and a good talker, and Jack Reacher, he's also smart remarks. When he was in the street fight outside the bar, he talked a lot and made sure everyone knew he was going to beat them all up. Yeah, it's trying to say here that in the books he didn't speak that much, but yeah, Alan Richson. I think Alan Richson and Tom Cruise do a lot of smart-ass remarks and do a lot of funny quotes. I don't think any of them are goofy. I think Tom Cruise, there is a lot of humor to the movies, in the first movie at least, with some of the action and Tom Cruise's lines. But I think there's quite a bit of that with Richson as well. But yeah, that's another one that, okay. Number 4, Alan shares the screen better than Tom. When Tom is in a scene in a movie, he steals the screen. Put him against a group of bad guys and all eyes are on Cruise. Put him on a table with a beautiful woman and all eyes are driving to Cruise. This is not what Jack Reacher is about at all. Reacher is a drifter and he is someone who tries not to stand out. His goal is to blend in and let people forget he's there. Richson is the big guy, but when he's in a scene with Roscoe, Finley, or even Hubble, he only stands out because he is big, but allows other characters their moment of... Okay, I don't think that Tom Cruise overshadowed people like Robert Duvall or Ross McPike. I think he's Tom Cruise, so it stands to reason that he would be the most noticeable character in a scene. But in terms of sharing the screen, my problem with the TV show, as much as I liked it, and I have to remind people that are watching this, I did like the show, but I did have issues with it too. I did feel that Jack Reacher kind of got in some episodes got the Val Kilmer and Batman Forever treatment, where Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones kind of stole a lot of the screen time, or not stole it, but were taking up a lot of the screen time. And whether that's good or bad, it's up to you. But I feel in Jack Reacher Amazon Prime show, I think that Roscoe and Finley get a lot of screen time, which I guess they're good characters, so that isn't bad. But in terms of Jack Reacher, I did have a little bit of problem where I felt that Reacher was kind of sidelined quite a bit, and sort of just a bit part player in some episodes. Which in the movies I always felt that Jack Reacher, not Tom Cruise as such, I thought Jack Reacher was the most interesting part of every scene. And I don't feel like that's down to Tom Cruise hogging the screen. I think it's simply the character was interesting. Author Lee Child approves of Ritchson. Well, you can't really debate that because Lee Child has said that didn't like Tom Cruise because of his stature wasn't in fitting with the character, and fans didn't really like it. So can't really disagree with that one. Alan is more menacing than Tom Cruise. Yeah. I think you could probably agree with that. I mean, his size and his general sort of, he can just look at you and you'll be scared of him. They say here he looks like a monster. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I mean, there's no debating the size. If the size is a big thing for you, then Ritchson's obviously going to your favorite out of the two. Tom Cruise is a movie star. Yeah, I mean, I get what they're saying with that if this character's supposed to be kind of a drifter and unknown, when you sometimes cast someone like Tom Cruise or The Rock, or if you cast Julia Roberts, they're always going to be, unless there's a really, really good script and a really interesting movie, they're always going to be seen as, I'm looking at Tom Cruise, I'm not looking at a real person in a character. So yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I think that's possibly a fair point. But again, just to finish off the video, I do like the show. My point is, I think the show gets a little bit pondering in some episodes. It drags a little bit. Maybe it's an one or two episodes maybe too long. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. But I felt that the most interesting parts of the first movie, which I enjoyed, was Tom Cruise kind of investigating, figuring out maybe things aren't as it seems. There was mystery. A lot of the mysteries in the show were sort of kind of not that big of mysteries. The bad people that are supposed to be bad kind of are bad. Maybe one or two surprises that got me. The bodyguard at the safe house. Didn't expect him to turn. Spoilers, sorry. Yeah, and I just felt that Tom Cruise, while he didn't have the stature, and I can definitely understand and respect people's opinion that him not having the right size and physique is a distracting and annoying point. I think Tom Cruise's performance and his just the more depth and interesting scenes he had, and you could really get his thought process, and that there was a lot more of Jack Reacher on his own doing his thing rather than an ensemble cast like the TV show where you have Roscoe and Finley, having their own big parts of the show as well. Again, I'm not against those characters because they're very well acted and written characters, but it's kind of like when you have a character, you don't like to see your main character kind of get sidelined for a lot of episodes, and I felt that happened. Again, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. Do you agree with anything I've said, or do you think that I'm simply talking nonsense? Let me know, and if you want to see more Jack Reacher videos, drop a like and subscribe. Thank you.